Hi, so I wanted to go live. So this is a recording in my Facebook page, on my Facebook page, talking about the blog post that I'm pushing out today. And in that blog post, I'm sharing my 7 biggest lessons that I've learned this year, or the 7 challenges I've faced and how I've overcome them and how it's changed my business. And I'm writing a new book called Be More Shark, and one of my colleagues, Steve May, suggested the title 2019 Year of the Shark as the title for the blog post. So I love that, and that's what I've gone with. So this year has been a big, fat, hairy year for me. A lot's happened, and I wanted to stop and take stock because I have this tendency to just go like, oh, that's done. What shall I do next? What shall my next project be? And I don't really stop and sort of smell the roses or feel glad about what I've done. I just move on to the next thing. So I don't often do these year in review posts because they can feel a little bit self-indulgent and a bit self-congratulatory, but I thought I would because it's been a big year and I need to acknowledge that for my own sanity. So the first thing that happened so long ago, like it feels like a different lifetime, was back in February. I went to speak at YostCon with my heroes, and honestly, while it sounded great when I got accepted to speak, the absolute terror I felt, like there were sleepless nights. I had such bad imposter syndrome because I was going to be talking about SEO copywriting in front of the people that I'd learned SEO copywriting from. And I was terrified that I was going to get heckled, or that I was going to see them sitting in the audience just going, what is she talking about? Or that afterwards they'd kind of pull me aside and go, okay, sorry, that was a bit poo. None of those things happened, of course. It was amazing. I met some amazing people. I formed like real proper friendships with people. I had such a giggle. I went on my own. I didn't know a soul, not one single person. And that was terrifying. It just so happened that my hero, Ran Fishkin, and his amazing wife was staying at the same hotel as me. So that was amazing. I got to hang out with them at breakfast and have some real giggles. And it was just so good for my confidence because I got through it. I did it. I mean, I was even terrified about even flying to the Netherlands on my own because I hadn't done an international trip on my own since I was in my 20s, you know? So big challenge, faced up to my imposter syndrome. Was the presentation amazing? It was okay. I'm still learning to get my speaking skills better. I'm going to share it on the blog so you can watch that there. The next thing that was big again was that I spoke at another international conference. So from speaking at no international conferences, I did 2 within a month. And this one was in New York, and it was called Copywriting Club in Real Life, run by Rob Marsh and Kira Hug. And again, I've just gone from being terrified standing up in front of my SEO peers, and now I was going to be terrified standing up in front of my copywriting peers. I mean, you had Bond Halbert, Paris, I can't remember his second name, oh God, how embarrassing, and Jonah Weave, and Joel Cleetle, and loads of just, you know, big names in the copywriting world, and there I was. And again, it was amazing to go to New York. I really enjoyed, I walked up and down New York, all the streets, it was amazing. Belinda Weaver came along to the conference to support me, which was, well, I think she came to support me. And that was the best outcome from that conference because we just clicked. Now, you think we'd have clicked already because we've been doing the podcast for 2 years, and of course we had. But we just were idiots together in a way that mums gone wild can only be when they get away from their families and they're in New York at a conference. And it was brilliant. And I did much better with my presentation. I felt confident, and the feedback was amazing. So that was my next big thing, and the challenges that I faced there and the learnings. I'm going to share all of this in the blog post. The next thing for me, the biggest thing, number 3, Be More Shark 3, was letting go. So this is huge for me this year. I am an utter control freak. I'm like Monica out of Friends. You know, I need to do everything myself. And obviously I've built my business up myself from nothing, and I didn't have a team until very recently. I have had, you know, bits and bobs of VAs and stuff, but generally I do everything in the business myself. You know, every comment, every bit of admin, all the Xero, all the Excel spreadsheets. And then I found the amazing Leanne Waff, and we've then increased the team to include a lovely VA called Glenn, another one called Maddie, and now I also have a person 2 days a week. And that process has been slow to build the trust with those people, But I just had to let go of the day-to-day in my business. There's only so much me to go around, and it's just not the best use of my time. And I was totally burning out, because by the time you've done 5 hours of admin, there's just nothing left to write blog posts or to do Facebook Lives, and I was just burning out. And actually, these overseas speaking gigs made it impossible for me to keep my vice-like grip of everything. I had to let Leanne do things. And of course, as soon as you let someone rise to the occasion, more often than not, they do. Leanne was brilliant. She actually improved a lot of things because she's not me, and she brings a different discipline and mindset to my business. So letting go was huge, and also allowed me to do something which I'd never done before, well, not for like 5 or 6 years, which was take a holiday with my family. I went to Bali for a couple of weeks. I've never been. It's amazing. I loved it, but I got to actually relax. Who knew? The next big thing, Be More Shark for, was learning to own my space. Now, I'm sure many of you feel the same. Hello, Ashley. I'm doing this as a Facebook Live, so if you're watching this video later somewhere else, that's why I'm saying hello to people. I feel a bit like an odd sock a lot of the time. I mean, you know, I wrote a book on it. I'm the misfit entrepreneur. I don't feel like I fit into the mold of what an entrepreneur should be like, and even what a female entrepreneur should look like. Because I'm a bit scruffy. I'm not a particularly girly girl, and you know, I'm just not good at the whole kind of Instagram kind of thing. And I'm not saying that all female entrepreneurs are like that, but there does seem to be a kind of vibe, and I guess anyway, I just feel like I don't fit in. Which is, of course, nonsense, you know, and is a throwback to like high school and the popular girls and being the geeky girl at the back. But, you know, I guess because so many of us don't fit in, there's almost a group of us, we've got our own little clique of people who don't fit in. And this year I've really tried so much harder to not worry about what everyone else is doing, and to just be myself and understand that, yes, it may mean that I don't have as many followers because my humor's a bit weird, or because I say things that maybe some people don't agree with, but that's just who I am, and it's just so exhausting not being who you are. I know we hear this all the time, that lots of people say this, but they don't necessarily embrace it, and this year I've really tried to embrace it, even to the point that when I do get criticized now, rather than taking it to heart, I do let it be like water off a duck's bottom, and I screen grab that insult or whatever, and I share it on socials because, you know, like, thank you for giving me something to share today that I didn't have to write myself. So embracing myself like this was a big thing, and understanding who I am, and that there are enough people out there who will like me. It doesn't have to be everybody. You know, you'd like to think that business isn't a popularity contest, but it kind of is, but you can still play by your own rules. So my Be More Shark lesson from 2019, number 5, was all about money. So for a long time, I just haven't had any money. You know, like many of you, it takes a while to get your business going. And, you know, also I got into some stupid tax debts, and it just, you know, life's tough when you're starting a family and you've got a house and you're so for a long time I didn't have any money, and then for a long time I had minus money, and I just got sick of that feast and famine, up and down, never knowing if I had enough money to pay my tax bill, just spending whatever I had. So in 2018 I implemented Profit First, but it hasn't been until 2019 that I've seen the rewards of that by sticking to it pretty much religiously. Not quite, my accountant will tell you I'm not perfect, but I've stuck with it. And the other thing I've done is that sometimes when you do get a bit of money, finally after all this time, you can go a bit mad and start buying really stupid stuff. Fortunately, I don't really want for much. I don't want much. You know, I'm not really a shoe person or jewelry person. I don't have a car. There's not much to buy, really, other than stuff at Kohl's. So I've been pretty good at not spending money, you know, not just rashly buying courses or mastermind programs, or, you know, going to conferences overseas just because I've got a bit of money. Like, I'm keeping my money for a little bit. Thank you very much. I've also worked really hard at changing this kind of thing with my money, because I used to have like 90% of my income. First off, I had about 95% of my income coming from service-based, which was copywriting. Then I moved to having courses, but even then, 90% of my income was earned on 3 days of the year when I had my course launches. That's a lot riding on that. That's a lot of pressure. So I've worked really hard in 2019 to build up my recurring revenue that comes in every month. And I've done that through my membership. So now I've got 2 memberships, one for copywriters and one which is a business coaching membership for digital businesses, shops, marketeers, people like that. And I've got about 400 members in those groups now, and that's taken a long time to build up. But now it's kind of paying off. I've got shops, I've got evergreen courses. So finally, the up and down has gone a little bit, and I'm learning not to be crazy with my money. The next thing, Be More Shark 6, was I actually entered an award. Now, I've never entered an award before. Like, when I was in ad agencies, your work got entered into awards, but you didn't really have any say in it. So I've won a few things for my copywriting, and some of the work I've done as a freelancer has been submitted by the client for awards. But I've never entered anything because, number one, I find the application forms really boring. It's super time consuming, and it throws me into introspection and belly button gazing and wondering, am I good enough? But yeah, this year I did. And I went through all of that. It was boring. It took me a long time. I wrote it myself, thanks to Melinda Lation and Angela Denley for helping me with it. But I wrote it myself, I submitted it, it looked gorgeous, but then obviously I was terrified that I wasn't going to win. I was going to look like a fool. I'd practiced my acceptance speech face, and I would have been fine if I hadn't won. I mean, God, it's not that big of a deal. But I really wanted to win. I was really invested, and drum roll, I did. Brilliant. And I will not pretend that I'm some cool little chicken. I was delighted. I was ecstatic. It was a brilliant moment. It felt very validating because the award was for SEO Community of the Year. And honestly, in the SEO community, I've often felt a little bit, again, on the outer. Listen to me, I'm such a loner, such an emo, middle-aged emo, somebody once called me a while ago when I wasn't even middle-aged. Anyway, I've often felt on the outer because obviously I teach normal people how to do SEO, and I'm not some kind of guru on a mountain doing, studies into schema and AMP and writing dissertations and papers on them. I'm generally taking that kind of information and regurgitating it for normal humans to understand. So I'm not kind of one of the cool cats in the SEO world either. God damn it. So this felt super validating to win this award in front of all my peers. So that was a big learning to kind of get over myself, enter something. Has it made any difference to my life or my business? Not at all. But I got to wear a nice outfit at the Opera House, and yeah, it felt amazing. I'm not going to deny it. So my Be More Shark learning number 7 from my Year of the Shark was, that it's my party. And I'm going to cry if I want to, but I'm not going to cry. It's my business. I get to set the rules. I get to do my boundaries, and I get to stick to them. I get to say no to that and yes to that. For a long time, I've kind of been doing things and not really understanding why I'm doing them. Like just saying yes, because, you want to be positive. You want to say yes to every opportunity, but not everything is an opportunity. Schlepping across town to speak at some meetup in front of 8 people and taking a whole evening out to do that for no money is not an opportunity. So, I've gone from, going to the opening of an envelope to kind of being a bit more selective about what I do. Also, not feeling I have to turn up all the time and be all things to all people. When I started my SEO course, oh my gosh, I so over-delivered. I gave people so much. And the problem is when you do that, people still aren't satisfied. And then you feel you have to give more and more and more. Now that I've taken a step back, I've noticed that, people take a step forward. Now I've made myself a bit more kind of exclusive, then I'm more in demand, So just taking that little bit of time for myself and setting some boundaries, no weekend working. I only do 1 late night a week now because it was miserable and I wasn't enjoying it. And what is the point of this? I don't care how much money you can make, but what is the point of this if you wake up in the morning feeling miserable about what you do? You may as well go back and work for the man. So, I've found that saying no breeds respect, not hatred, and by showing up less, people want me a bit more, and that's brilliant for me because I'm tired. And of course there's a lot more. I launched CopyCon, I did 3 rounds of my big course, I spoke at a few other events, I did some training this year. First time I've done in-house training for a while on SEO and copywriting for people like American Express. I also took on a copywriting client or 2, and with varying degrees of success. I've kind of realized that maybe the days of having clients for copywriters are kind of over, but I'm lucky that I get to pick the ones that I want and then pass really good leads on to members of my community. I guess one of my biggest learnings this year, my biggest things this year is I just think I'm a little bit less of a dick than I used to be. You know, let's be honest, we can all be dicks in business. We like to think we're not. Like, we all like to think we've got a great fashion sense and a brilliant sense of humor. But sometimes when you're looking around the room and no one's an asshole, you're the asshole. And believe me, I have done dumb things in my business. I've offended people. I've got on my high horse. I've got my knickers in a twist. How many other idioms can I come up with? So these days, I am much better at taking a breath and not reacting and not letting either the highs or the lows affect me so much. And not the compliments. I don't let myself rise up to the compliments and go, oh, look at me, I'm awesome. But equally, therefore, I don't let the insults get to me either. I just kind of slip through and just kind of do my do. And that's been a relief, because honestly, I used to be like a sock in the wind, you know, blown this way and that way by whatever was going on in the world, not having that kind of center. And I was always looking outwards for direction rather than looking in. Oh my God, I am so woo-woo. What's happening to me? So in summary, my biggest wins this year, I think, would be speaking at Yoast Con. That was amazing. Letting go and letting my wonderful OBM Leanne Woff take over a little bit and kind of owning my space, owning who I am, and setting my boundaries. My best investment this year has been in my team. I've actually cut down on expenditure on everything else to keep my expenses under 25%. And my biggest mistake, I think, taking on copywriting clients. Just the world that I have now and the number of moving parts in my business, I just can't deliver that level of client service that I want to, and that we all should as service providers. And so I have 3 big goals for 2020, 3 simple goals, pretty much. I want to keep everything that I have going, ticking along. I want to launch the Hot Copy Mastermind, woohoo! Hopefully launching tomorrow if I can finish the page. And also write my new book, Be More Shark, which is what this is all about. It's about being brave in business, about being fearless. None of these things that I've achieved this year could I have done if I'd been a little scaredy cat that I was 5 or 6 years ago. Well, you know, that I've been all my life, to be honest. And you know, that's why I want to write the book, because I think I've learned some strategies on how not to get over fear. Fear never goes away. I meet a lot of, you know, kind of semi-famous sort of speakers and things. They're still all terrified most of the time, but they use it to their benefit. They understand it. And I really want to talk about that in the book. So I want to talk about all the different things we're frightened of, starting, you know, putting ourselves out there, having a brand, building a course, speaking at events, networking, all the things that we are frightened of, money, people, spiders. And I want to give you strategies on how to deal with them. So that's the other big thing next year, is my book and the podcast that goes along with it. So, of course, I'm fascinated to hear about what your big challenges have been in 2019 and what your goals are for 2020. I know we're all a bit weary, and I feel like I have just crawled to the finish line. This was the last thing I wanted to do. This is my last day in the office, and I've done it by the skin of my teeth. So well done, Kate Toon 2019, talking about myself in the third person. That's a bit weird. I'm looking forward to 2020, not because there's anything massive happening, but because I'm actually enjoying my business more. And I think the main reason for that is because I'm not scared of my business anymore. I've set my boundaries. I am who I am. If people don't like me, what am I going to do? I'm just going to do my do and hope for the best. And so far, it's been 11 or so years. That's worked pretty well. So thanks for watching, and have a brilliant Christmas and a happy, happy, happy New Year. Bye.